The Rant. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not into racism and all that, but I do think this critical protectness has gone too far, you know. It's just like them kids in that school that had to wear earmuffs just to play conkers. I think parents, well, they're wrapping their kids up in cotton buds. When I was a kid, we had a sense of humour. People could laugh at ourselves. We used to climb trees and break our necks on the way down, but it never did us any harm. Now you can't let kids out of your earshot, slingshot, shipshot, waddy. No, that's not it. Oh, I don't know any road. You can't even let them go off together on their own these days. You always have to be aware of Peter Files or whatever his name is. I'd have him hanged if it were up to me, and then throw away the key. I blame the politicians. They should make sure that when they come into the House of Commons that they spend a day living by themselves with me up in my flat and work on bins or something. The trouble is they've become the new Harris atrocity, so my mate Brian says, and he should know because he reads The Sun. And then there are all them illegal increments, them piles and lithed geraniums coming over from Eastern Europe. You can't walk down the street nowadays without hearing some bloke going on like he's talking in reverse. I remember when there were real foreigners. They all used to go and live abroad then. I mean, how can you ask for a pint of milk if you sound like you're talking out of your backside? That's it, backside. What they should do is go back home and get English lessons before they think about coming here and learn how to accept themselves the way we does. I mean, you don't catch me going on over there and inspect them to understand what I'm saying, even if they do speak English. They didn't invent different languages for naught, did they? So there you go, it's as plain as a pie fest. Well, it's as clean as the nose on your face, isn't it? Now that brings me to another thing. What about the ecology? You know, all them billions of pounds flushed down the MP's drains. If I was bothered to pay tax, I'd be livid. My mate Brian says that, well, I can't exactly remember what it was he said, but it made sense when he said it, and that's good enough for me. I mean, I've looked everywhere and I can't see any green shoots of recovery, whatever one of them is. All these experts, they tell us things that we could work out for ourselves if only we understood what they were talking about. Every night on news they show us a graph of the stock market. I thought it were all a bloke gone mad with a crane until I watched Alby City where they had a heart man-eater. All I've got to do now is figure out what that has to do with socks, and I've got it sorted. Then they've gone and got us into the Iraq and Afghanistan, and we don't even have the helicopters to go. And, well, the bloke on the news says something about the wrong type of rifles, and it got me so mad thinking that if they knew that in the first place, then they'd have to go and, you know, the soldiers, I mean, not the politicians. No, not them, because they've got a fight on their hands staying in power. You see, it's like this, them lot governing the country pays second fiddle to that, so that by the time we've had our vote, well, it proves how much we all, oh, sorry, I've lost my train of thought now, but it just goes to show, don't it? And then what was I saying? Oh, that's it. Why did we fight in the Second World War? We went through all that Battle of Britain, the Battle of Trafalgar and the Battle of Waterloo to stop the Germans in the trenches. Now that's freedom, that is. As Wyndham Churchill said, you ain't seen nothing yet, and he was right. Look at all the trouble winning the war did. We ought to have lost it and let the Americans win. I mean, they seem to be doing all right for themselves, don't they? Look at us. We don't want to be part of the European Union. If our lot had had any sense, they'd have had the Europe head office here instead of Amsterdam or wherever it is. Then they're all going on about World War III. It's doing me nerves waiting for it to happen. I wish they'd just get on with it so we can have a bit of peace. Oh, well, I don't suppose there's any point dwindling on the hindsight of the future. I'm just a voice in the wonderland. That's the trouble with democracy. All a lot never get listened to. You've got to be small enough to get noticed these days. I mean, I'm just a minority, a lone ranger, and you can't get smaller than that. Most of the country is made up of quiet people, lots of little minorities like me. But if those minorities grow to a decent size, and you just watch your step, only watch out you don't get too big for your bootstraps. If you want to get on, it pays to be vocal, that's it, vocal. In fact, if you don't matter how many of you there are that matters, it's who makes the most mess that cleans up. That's why the country's gone to pop. All the TV and newspapers go to bed, and if they have a dead donkey, well, that's the end of that. I don't know what has to do with these minorities, but you see where I'm coming from, don't you? And don't get me on the health service. It's all targets and, well, lots of stuff like that. Where's the matron? That's what I say. She used to get the nurses running around in circles doing hospital corners and everyone knew where they were. The doctors always had periscopes around their necks so you knew where they were, and you knew that, didn't you? Yeah, that's, you knew what they were doing anyway. I think nowadays it's all chiefs and too many Indians. Still, it's amazing what they can do these days. They're able to transplant almost anything. They say that you can come out of someone else if you stay in there long enough. Here we are, look, the bus is coming. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, you've gone. On my own again. I don't know. Oh well, mustn't grumble.